Good morning. Good afternoon.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, Tamer.
Oh,
Well, so this is our last step of the workshop. So first, I will share my results about this test. So remember that you need to point out 15 questions. So what you have to do is it's very simple. If 15 questions, if you need to multiply 15 questions per the number of grade that you add in these exercises. So in terms of the exercise here, okay, perfect. Remember that you have five grades, 5 marks, very often 4, sometimes, and 2 hours. So depends on the number, depends on your grades, your marks. You need to multiply it by 15. Okay. So and then you have the overall calculation.
Okay. So should we get the sum of the numbers or?
Yeah, you need to plus the 15 questions with the grade, with the mark. Okay. Remember that the maximum level that you need to accomplish is 75. Okay. So this is approximately.
Okay. So the high level is good or bad?
Yeah, we have approximately three levels. That is between well, 75, it will be approximately 10%. So, and in order to know exactly to calculate more or less your grade, I showed you the rule of thumb here to calculate the number. When you calculate when you make well, this is a PDF, okay. So,
Yeah.
have you done it?
From my side, yes, but I don't know if this is good or bad. It's 57.
Okay, so I'll give you the rules here. I'm going to put a Word document to make your own calculations. If someone need my help, I have my scientific calculator to help you. This is my here, for instance. Then what you have to do is a very simple rule of thumb. Is 75 points. Can you see on my screen?
Yes.
So 75 points. So involves 100%. 100%. And then you need to put here your numbers.
Yeah.
Imagine, for instance, that my number is 60. I don't know, it's an example, okay? This is my number, and 60, what we would be the variable that I need to calculate, it's x, okay? So x in this case?
For me is 76%. 76.
75%. Perfect. So
Yeah.
75% according to a rule is in the grade very, very good, very good, very good in terms of assertive. So there are more or less three levels approximately from what we might say was the level of. So the idea here is not to say you pass more than 5 is good. So for the idea is to pass more than 50 is the idea in this test, because this test takes in considerations that sometimes 100% is not very more than 50% is more, you feel more assertive. Okay, so this is the first grade, might be related to more than 50. So more than 50 could be the idea for this girl. So you have less than 50, that perhaps you need to study being, how involves being more assertive. Okay, so this is less than 50 might be more passive person. More than 50 is more normal, what is more. So depending, you are very approach of 50, but you have 30, or you be more passive. You are very close to 50, perhaps you are in this barrier. So by giving more than 50 points is a correct number, normal number, we might say. And then part them more than between 70, 75, more than 70, 75 is very, very good in terms of assertive. So I would say very good in terms of being assertive. Approximately between 70, more than 70, you pass more than kids. Okay. But remember, it's very, very difficult if you make this test take more than 8 or 90, because sometimes stand here in this test, you state the different circumstances. Okay, so that's, for me, is perfect. There are three levels: less than 50, more than 50, and more than 70. So it's fantastic. You are being more assistive.
But I have a question here, Antonio. There is some questions that I have very low mark, and other question very high mark. Is make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense, because the circumstances are really different in terms of this test. Remember that every student or every people show the circumstances when it comes to imagine the situations. For instance, if you see these questions about the defend my rights without infringing those of others. So people say, well, I would say depends on if I'm my family or not. And it's true, because sometimes being assertive is not being assertive 100%. This is a point of view. There is a debate about being assertive. Sometimes you need to be, it's very, very important being assertive, for instance, in work. But families or friends, sometimes they refuse being assertive because you are very profound, you are very strict on being assertive. Perhaps you might face with refuse, or might face rejects about the people that are very close to you. Okay, so keep in mind, being assertive depends if the person are very close as family. Well, my piece of advice, you need to take caution. Okay, this is my piece of advice. But in terms of work or people that they are very far from the comfort zone, there are people that are colleagues or whatever it is very, very good to be assertive. So that's the idea. Okay, because at center you talk, for instance, I will put an example. I talk to my man. Well, you or your father, the people who have father or family, well, you need to clarify. It's true that you've been assertive, but don't. Sometimes you need explanation for them. Is what I mean. You so very people. Because I'm not telling you that you are a mom or father, because mom sometimes they're very manipulative in a very good way. I try to remember my mom, or well, I haven't got father. My father passed away a long time ago when I was 18. But the people care. You need to explain it before answering. It's been assertive, but I would say a grade not 100%. Maybe perhaps 60% of being aggressive. Okay, that's my point. Okay. So very good, very good, very good. And the rest of the people, very good. You do make calculations. Can anyone wanted to share numbers or not? It's okay. Maria, where everything is fine. Perfect, perfect. So we come to the end, and we know about being assertive. We know about being not being passive, neither being aggressive nor being passive person, and we need to be assertive. But remember, being assertive is very good in the people that very, but when in terms of family or something that are very close, I prefer, this is a point of view. They are very general relation people. They are more related to one path or the other people, but I have my point. And my point said, in terms of family, well, you need to take caution with it because people, you can misunderstand something and you need to be, you can be assertive, but in 60% or 70 by telling things. But this is a point of view, okay? Well, apart from that, today, let's start by finishing this topic and go to the final topic. So here, let me know how you've been assertive. If we talk about being assertive, let's start by explanation. This is our test, an example, and the script to be assertive. I don't know if, oh, come on, I split up, okay. Well, perfect, here. Well, okay, it's here. Being assertive. Well, this is an example of being is a script, and I show you an example. This is scripting. With scripting, you say how you declare it. How you say, well, you need to be assertive. How I manage to be an assertive person. So this is a script. It's a script about, it's a test about as an example, and I divided this text in 4 parts. First, you need to show the event. This is the first part. The event. What involves the event? Tell the other person how you see the situation or the problem. This is very important. So taking on the event. In terms when you start talking, when you're being assertive, tell the event. The event is the situation. The event is, well, this is an example about production costs. So Jenny, the production cost this month are 20% higher than average. Okay, you didn't give me any indication of it, which means that I was completely surprised by the news. When it's supposed to be with the supervisor, the production cost this month are 20% higher, but she in this case didn't tell you anything about the situation of the 30% are higher than average. So, and when it came out, it surprised him. So this is the event. What happened? My situation was, Jane, the situation is, or whatever it is. So this is perfect. Then the feelings. Feelings are important, but when you describe feelings, you are describing emotions. You feel how you express, how you feel. And this is very important. People try to hide, but this is very important to feel your emotions. This frustrates me. It hates me. It fears me. Fears. It makes me feel uncomfortable. It makes me feel frustrated. It makes me feel anger. It makes me feel whatever. Okay. So this frustrates me and makes me feel that you don't understand or appreciate how important financial controls are in the company. Frustrate me and explain why you feel frustrated, why you feel frustrated. Because it's frustrated because you don't understand how important financial controls are in the company. You don't stick to the budget, perhaps. You don't stick to the money, that the money is limited or whatever it is. So this is the emotion, and emotions involve frustration. Maybe be anger, or maybe be understandable, somewhere that whatever it is. So in this case, I choose frustrate, that being anger, or how you feel. Then your needs. So first event, second emotions, then your needs. Tell the other person exactly what you need. So I show you the case, I show you my feelings, and then I need what I need you. Right? I need you to be honest with me. To be honest, for me, it's supposed to be the Jenny tend to do in advance, before the costs arise, before the costs come up, and they need to show what happened, what occurred with the data, with numbers, with the financial budget, in order to know exactly what happened in the past, in order to do actions. Okay, some strategy to diminish the budget, to increase the budget, or whatever it's. I need you to be honest with me and let me know when we start going over budget or anything. And finally, the consequences. The consequences. Describe the positive impact. Every time it's positive impact, and your request will have never negative impact. You never use negative, but people tend to go to negative. If you do that, I'm going to describe. I'm going to go to police, whatever. No, I'm going to talk to your supervisor. No, it's not the point. It's not the point. Here, you need to, as assertive persons, first, one of the main goals is to get a deal, to have a deal with the other, try to get a deal with the other person. So we will focus on the positive communication, positive way. If you do this, we will be in a good position to hit our targets and make it a better end of year bonus. Okay. So it shows that by doing this is focusing less than the 20%, or I don't know the boundary was in this company, but perhaps it could be for us, but who can get a GR bonus that is in the agenda, or will be in a good positions. Okay, so every time in positive, never negative. Okay, so this is an example very interesting to when it comes to state to the event, state your feelings, state your needs, and state the consequences. And has to do with the last exercises. You see the exercises of 24 exercises here, and this is the script of being assertive. This is the assertive interrupter relax, finding how much your time is worth. This is the last position, okay, and the script of being assertive, okay, right? Script being assertive in 4 stages. So this is our last exercise for today. So it's clear. So let's start to the last point here. This is the exercise, and it's costing your time. Costing your time. Costing your time is the final topic for this workshop. Well, talk about is divided in 2 parts. How much your time is worth. This is 4 questions. And what is related to productivity. So this is an issue that shows that when it comes to handling time involves, as we said before, opportunity cost. This is opportunity cost is the cost for not using other strategy. When you decided, for instance, not doing that activity, for instance, you are losing. You are losing something that you can do it instead of being stopped. When you are paralyzed, for instance, for some real reasons, you are stopping opportunities. It's like trains that comes and you are decided to stop in the railway station instead of go up to the train to catch the train. In order to catch the train, you prefer to see how the train pass again. So keep in mind it in terms of time, finding how much your time is your worth. And this is the first approach is your time is worth or not. My approach in this exercise, in this final exercise, is well, make numbers. You see, so sometimes you might you need to know in this case that well time involves money, and you need to know how much money involves in this activity. So let's start by, this is 5 columns: start, finish, activity, time, invest, and return. All of them has been done before. It's when you start, when you finish, the activity, the time, and the return. The term, we remember that when you started to explain the activity, we classified it in 3 numbers, A, B, or C, depends on the numbers. Okay. So first of all, you need to write down all your activities, write down all of them. This is an example right here. So start, finish, and there are different activities. Now, chat it with Fred, check the email, web research, prepare for operations, check email, weekly operations, informal debrief, land, chat it, phone call with vacations, listen and response, look for last, weighted, budget, on evaluate. Okay, so you can get advantage of the work that you did it in the module 1. This is the exercise that you did it. You take an advantage by transfer this data to it. Okay, so it's not necessary to rethink and re-prepare things, because you can take it and transfer to it, and that's correct. So that's the idea. So it's not really complicated. Okay. Second point, the same. This is something that I did before in terms of high return, medium return, and low return. So need to use your activity log and put the return here. We say C is when the return is very low, and you see low return on is eating. Low return is your value. You turn about value. It's an activity related to how the impact in your value. Value perhaps is related to money, it's related to whatever it is. It's a project or it's whatever it is. So value. So I receive a low return. Is your activity is related to the return or not? Medium could be important objectives and high returns. High return is the maximum. Very Excel return is when very related to the value, your value to carry out this goal, smart goal or activity or task activity. Well, you have plenty of activities. Perhaps all of them has to do with your smart goal. Or perhaps they are different activities. So you can check it out. You know that there are activities that are more related than others. Here, the return, for instance, the return here is C. Okay, it involves that it's not very related to my value. Okay, and this one I said, when you surface the web to find information for someone, sometimes you are on C. And chat it about meeting, how they fill out is C, and the number or time here, 15 minutes, 13 minutes, and 20 minutes. Phone call with someone, some colleague or worker about vacation, maybe C. I look for last quarter budget number is C, waiting for budget meeting to begin C, or whatever it is. Well, I'm not I'm very sophisticated. I don't want to be very sophisticated when it comes to calculating a number. My point in this idea is when you trying to believe is time is important or not important, is that you need to realize that how the time that you invest your time is vital in terms of money. So I need to change. I need to put it in numbers to alert you to some extent, to alert you in terms of time. And I wanted to alert you to in this with these numbers, with these calculations. When you just determine your hourly rates, figure out the cost of each item you have listed by multiplying the actual amount of time by your hourly wage. Now, sometimes when it comes to calculating the cost, perhaps you say, oh, this is really complicated. It's not really complicated at all. I'm going to explain. First, what you have to do is your hourly wage. The hourly wage, you need to calculate it by different things. One of the hourly wages is to know if you receive a salary, perhaps is the yearly salary divided the number of hours in a year. The number of hours in a year, to calculate it is not very complicated. You need to calculate how many hours you work in a day by diminishing for the bank holidays or the holidays including. So the idea is to divide it in 2080 hours in a year. Okay, so this is a calculated hourly wage. So sometimes you are working as a consultant, consulting in a consulting area, was as a consultant person or advisor person or freelancer coaching or whatever it is. When you in terms of consultant, for instance, is different. For instance, you have the salary. The salary depends on the hour. It's very typical when you go to attorney or go to attorney person, for instance, using they make a lawyer or attorney, and you pay for hours. You say, attorney, well, this is involved, this is the divorce or whatever. Well, I can't to cope with it, but remember that my hourly, my expenses are, for instance, $200 per hour, or $300 per hour. So what you need to multiply is the number of hours that you need in this project, multiplied it by it, you take the payment that you need to receive, the amount of money, the income that you need to receive for your client. I think it's not very complicated. The same I make here. I calculate, for instance, assuming that your hourly wage is 40. However, for instance, you receive a yearly salary, for you might multiply it divided by the number of hours in a year. Number of hours that are effective. As I discounted, I set the bank holidays, for instance, the Holy Christmas holidays, Easter's, and for instance, summer holidays. Okay. So this is the number, the overall number of 20,080 hours. Okay. Remember that here in Spain, 40 hours per week, approximately. You multiply per 4, is 160 hours, more or less, 160 hours per month. Okay. So depends on the year, depends on the time. Well, you know more or less, you can calculate it. So this is, according to these exercises, we assume that this is the $40 per hour. So here you say, well, I'm a freelancer and this is my hour that is paid. So, well, very easy to say, well, I'm going to calculate it, the cost of the C's. Basically the C's, because B and A leads this company, leads these people to value. This A and B enables this guy value. So we need to forget it, the activities B and activity A. I'm focusing only on just the activities that give not value, that not bring us values, that don't bring values, as the activity this one, the activity from chatted, or the activity B, or the activity chatted once, or the look for or waited for budget meeting forever. How you calculate it? Well, I do it here in the first one. Now suppose, for instance, this is one of the 40 euros per hour. So we are talking about 15 minutes. So if we are going to about 15 minutes, I need to multiply it for 0.25, okay? 15 minutes is a quarter. Remember that this is in minutes, and this is I need to put it in hours. And the point is that you have the salary per hours. So you have two options here. So this is a rule of thumb. Here, 70 minutes involves 1 hour, 50 minutes involve X hours. So this is in terms of time that we are talking about 0.25 hours. That is 25%. And 25% I need to multiply it per what is the salary, day hour salary. That is hourly salary, that is 40, and it is called $10 or 10 euros, whatever it is, okay? So this is because I suppose the hourly wage is here, that is 40 hours, okay? The hourly wage. So also, by knowing the hourly wage, I can calculate the rest of them. So the result shows that the total that I invest on C, on these activities, is 1 hour and 55 minutes. And involves a quantity of $66 or 66 euros per year, per day. You multiply it per I don't know, per year, maybe it's a massive quantity. So look at this sometimes, because it's important to know the money that you lose for doing activities that they are not useful. Okay, you remember the hard slugs activities, or hard slugs activities, for instance, or activities that is not involves no value for them. Here we are more concise, more specific. We are not activities that they are related to any project, but for instance, got coffee or something like that. People complain, you say, well, Antonio, you are very strict, you are very consistent. Remember that coffee is important to relax yourself. I'm not telling that the coffee is important. That's for sure. A coffee chatting with people is important. But my point is here is that I want you to be aware that the time when you decided to spend time by focusing activities, you are losing money. And this is the people, $66 per day. If you make calculations, and make calculation now, right now, per day, assuming that 5 days, American 6, but assuming per week it would be $3,330. This is the day in a week. Okay, so in a week, and you multiply it per 4, perhaps in a month, we are talking about 1,320 euros. 1,320 euros per month. It's money. It's money. Okay. Well, finally, the last topic for today is to talk about the second point is about maximizing productivity through improved focus. Okay. This is about productivity. This is another term apart from the cost, is productivity. But I wanted to state one question, that too little pressure has a negative impact on your productivity as well. It's a question. And this is sometimes being boredom. Boredom involves that you have any productivity. You are not focused on productivity. And this is a good graphics, how the productivity works. You know, in the optimums, this is the area of best product. So it's not the strengths, the extremes are not good. Okay, the extremes are not good. If you are here in these positions, you may feel boredom. So the pressure are very low and the performance are very low. Okay, when you decide to skip activities, tasks for any circumstances, because you need to procrastinate it. For instance, if you are bored, you are not doing anything. Okay, low pressure and low performance. However, you need an optimum here. That this is the this point, in this maximum that is here, this is an optimal stress. And then the more pressure is good. Is good. Bosses and managers need to be here in this workshop to know that the more pressure, the less performance. Okay, because some states the people state it experience. The people experience anxiety, and with anxiety and high stress, you can't work. Okay, you are in fear, and the resolutions are really, really bad. This is when the companies are really know about how to handle your stress, how you handle your stress. So it's very, very important how you handle your stress, because you overload it is this stress, perhaps you feel in anxiety. Okay, it's true that people that can handle better stress rather than others. That's true. It's that Tamer said before, depends on the person. That's true. There are people that can handle better than others, but in terms of an average, is the reality. On the other hand, I would say before, a mind that is very, very, when you are very overloaded, becomes very with negative thoughts. Okay, much pressure involves to anxiety, involves that hormones are in your body, and you start to make a lot of anxiety. Anxiety is not good in terms of time, because you can realize any task, you can do any tasks, you feel anxiety. So keep in mind it in terms when you decided smart goal to carry out activities, however you are immersed in a state of overload, and you are in anxiety, because anxiety leads stress. Okay. Brain as well is nothing. It's difficult to maintain the focus. The point is, you say, "Oh, stress is good." Well, stress is good to some extent. When your brain is overloaded, your brain is overloaded, so you can't maintain the focus on the things. Very important. Students, for instance, when they start making an exam, and they start the first minutes when you're in a state of anxiety, they can't think. Mind goes blank. And then when you finish the exam, then perhaps in the night, they remember the solutions. I don't know, it's very common to you. When you are sleeping after the exam, you say, I have no idea about the exam. And then you start in a state of relax. You are sleeping, and in the middle of the night, you woke up, you say, oh my God, this is the way to do the exercises. Okay. You say, oh my God, I now have the clue. Okay. So the same, you state on blank and you can't think. So the same in terms of making these activities. This is the same I explained before, the 66 hours, that almost 2 hours on the course. So also in terms of numbers, so 60 euros in activity per day per 270 days is about these quantities involved in your value. So I make this calculation, as I said before, but look at this approximately. This is the working days. This is the working days is 260. So this is very, very massive euros in terms of the money that you can invest in. You can invest in activities that has not give any value. Okay, in activity per day. Sometimes you receive the money, your salary for your boss doesn't matter. You are going to receive independently that is work or not. However, you work by yourself as a freelancer or an advisor or a consultant as well. Perhaps you have a problem because this is your cost opportunity. Set opportunity cost. Instead of doing it, you can do it other things. Well, this is the exercises, the last exercises for today. Finally, for doing it, this is your test. This is a test. I think so. You did it. I think so. This is true. So it's just very, very rapid questions about to respond it. It's just uploaded on the virtual on the UA Club, for instance. Say. So this is the test that I said, but if you wanted to know the questions about what involves any questions, remember that I give you the clue, and this is my last comment for this workshop. So remember that this is a statement to answer. Okay. The tasks I work on, the ones with the highest priority. So you need the same 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. I find myself completing tasks at the last minute or asking for extension. The same 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I set aside time for planning and executing. The same. I say 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Know how much time I spend on each of the various tasks I do. The same. I find myself dealing with interruptions. The same. I use goal setting to decide what tasks and activities I should work. I leave quantitative time as curious. I know whether the task I am working on the highest. When I'm giving a new assignment, analysis is for importance. I know whether the task I'm working. When I'm giving a new assignment, I analyze it for importance. I'm stressed about deadlines and commitments. Distraction keep me from working on critical tasks. Have to take work home in order to take it done. I prioritize my list. I confirm my priorities with my boss before I take on tasks. I check that results will be worth time putting. So indeed, this is the test that it was done in the first exercises. In the first exercises that you did it, for instance, you start to make this test and say, when you finish the test, this is something to know. And probably perhaps you classify it in 5, 4, 3, and 2, and 1 tests. Okay. So, but the solution, people say, oh, Antonio, what is the solution? So the solution is here. So the people that are over 65 here, 65, remember that maximum is 5, is very good. It's very good. Okay. You are over 75, you manage your time very good. 31, 15, you are very good. You are good at sometimes, but you are under 30. That is more or less half, less than half. You are perhaps you need to make a good training to do it. But my point is today, in order to be perfection, I showed you which numbers has to do with, okay? And this is, remember that this is the skills that we work in this seminar, in this workshop. Remember that we start to focus on goal setting, okay? Then we start talking about scheduling, prioritization as well. Yesterday, we talked on procrastination. Remember procrastination, the matrix of procrastinations. And today, we will focus on managing interruptions. So this is the 5 vital issues in terms of time management. Remember that when someone tells you, what you study in time management? Well, you can talk about it. It's very easy to say, to define, to summarize the most important point that we saw in 5 parts. Goal settings, very important. To procrastinate is very, very important. Prioritization is very important. Scheduling is very important. And also management interruptions. And this is, you can do a photo here. You want it, the photo in your pictures. That's 6 and 10, because I don't think so. This is on the original module 1. However, because it's recording now, so you can go today when Tamer uploaded this material, you can go in this screen and you can see exactly what the solutions count are related to others. 6 and 10, for instance, are related to goal settings. You see the 6, I use goal setting, and 10, I use the same. I know whether the task I'm working on are here, medium, or low value. Remember the value in terms of the goals of the matrix. So that's the final. Thank you very much for the workshop of these 4 days. I expect this, I'm going to leave now. I expect you enjoy with these explanations. I expect you get advantage of it. I'm going to leave now. Okay.
There is one small question from Rifai. He asked about the difference between emotional and moody persons.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, Rafi said, what is the difference between emotional and moody person? And with, for my point of view, I would say emotional has to do with more with perhaps as emotional with what is called emotional intelligence, the emotion of the people. Being emotional, someone that is more emotional, and moody is very close to emotional. Moody is your behavior, but emotional people decided to classify emotions. Okay, and there are 6 emotions that they are very important. No? What is happiness? What is fear? What is anger? What is content? Content is another emotions, or whatever it is. There are other authors that decided to classify in more emotions. So I think that I differentiated it depends in a class in a more restrict classifications. Okay, that's the idea more than Talmudic, but they're very similar. Okay. Um, and I don't know what to say more. Thank you very much for the students, the people. Well, remember that summer we'll upload the material. I think so. The last part for the material in order to do these exercises. I encourage you to the people to do these exercises for get the certification. That is something very valuable. I think so. Cloud projects makes a lot of effort here to get you to attend these courses, and you also you get a certification.
Yep.
Do you want to say, Tamer, something?
I again I apologize because yesterday I tried to send the email of yesterday, but I had some problem with YouTube. I don't know why. For some reason, I was not able to cut the 2 parts of the video. So I assume today it will work fine, hopefully. So if you give me just 2 hours, around 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock Eastern European time, I will send you the email with the thank you message with the link of today record and the teaching material and the exercises.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah,
Super.
and finally, I would like to thank you for your great interest. I think we will have a meeting with Professor Antonio sometime next week, end of next week or so, in order to
Yeah,
see who already sent the homework or the
perfect.
exercises.
I'll send you
And
an email.
yeah, in 10 days, you will have the certificates.
Very good. Very good.
Yep.
So the same, I appreciate to the coordinator all the support. That remember that with this webinar will be with the help to Tamer, that is in charge of uploading the material, recording this material. So it's a setting working. And thank you all of you. Thank you all of you for attending here, for
Thank
being
you.
here.
Thank you for you and Dr. Tamir also
You're
too.
welcome.
Yeah, I appreciate your efforts in this workshop.
No problem at
Okay.
all. It's a pleasure.
Yeah,
Refi, you are welcome. Thank you very much.
so much.
Thank you very much, Refi. Is and the same for you. I appreciate that you stayed here, that you learn a lot of things, and it's time now for remember that all the knowledge that you learn is for you. It's not for me. Well, sometimes as a teacher, professor, you need to know if you understand it. But as I ever say to my students, the important is not to pass or not to pass an exam, something like that. If you learn something and it's valuable for you, it's fantastic. This is gold, independently that you pass or not to pass. Every time you learn something and it's good for you, so take advantage for it. And nothing else. Thank you
Yep.
very much, all of you. That's all.
Thanks a lot. So, see you in a coming workshop.
Okay. Bye bye
Bye
together.
bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye-bye.